Hello guys, and now we know that among those 41 aircraft destroyed in the result of the successful Ukrainian Spiderweb operation, there were two super important and super expensive for the Russian army, Beriev A-50. These are early warning and control aircraft, literally radars that do not just scan the territory around, but they coordinate the work of other Russian bombers. And such aircraft are very rare. Russia did not have more than 8 of them before the start of the invasion. We have already destroyed 2 in the previous operations, damaged 1, and now minus 2 more. Also, I want to stress that each of such aircraft costs 318 billion, so multiplied by 2. No matter how hard they tried to hide them with sand sacks, with various wires, it did not help. And the satellite images revealed the truth. What makes the situation more interesting, these satellite images came from China, and the population in China celebrated this defeat of the Russian Federation. But we observe the contrary reaction in the United States, which surprises me in a negative way. And here, of course, I don't speak about the beautiful people of America who continue to support Ukraine, but the representatives of the White House, like Kellogg, who also chickened out. But I have to remind you that many of these strategic cruise missile carriers that we managed to destroy were already fueled to attack Ukraine, because Russia planned a special operations use light to attack innocent Ukrainian cities before the so-called negotiations in Istanbul. And our Spiderweb operation destroyed these plans and saved lots of innocent human lives. Once again, remember, in the result of this operation, we demilitarized Russia. We targeted legitimate military objects that were literally fueled to attack us. So please support Ukraine and subscribe. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and together we will observe the fall of the Putin's regime. And please share these videos if you share my opinion, and remember to like, because the topics these days are just excellent and all provided by the Ukrainian security service SBU. And here in Ukraine, we constantly speak about our love to them. So these 2 aircraft were targeted most likely on Ivanovo military air base that is near Moscow. It is less than 100 kilometers away, and those of you who follow the updates on my channel remember that this month turned out to be very difficult for the capital of Russia. For Putin, that is a huge problem, because if he is afraid of any protests, it is definitely in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And this month, they had to close the airspace around the Russian capital. The airports were paralyzed. Dozens of thousands of people stayed in that airport, and all because of Ukrainian drones working. And this time, we even used the trucks. And you know, I love watching these videos from inside Russia, where they have huge queues now on the roads, because they literally check every truck. Believe me, Ukrainians are creative, and I'm sure that the next operation will be different from this one, so let alone these trucks. Or create logistic chaos, problems, traffic jams, whatever, I don't mind. But once again, we see that the Russian capital is totally vulnerable. Their air defense constantly fails. They are not able to protect their borders, as we witnessed recently, and they are not able to protect strategic objects like these military air bases, and of course the strategic aircraft like these A-50s. As the majority of the Russian weapons, Russian tanks, Russian armored vehicles, Russian aircraft, it was all constructed back in the USSR. And these last parties of A-50s were released perhaps at the beginning of 90s. So there is no one to recreate something like that. There is no one to repair, and they were short of them even at the start of this full-scale invasion. An important reminder, Putin planned a blitzkrieg, but he definitely failed. And now he keeps failing on the Russian territory, which makes the whole situation more humiliating for Russia. And honestly, with each such special military operation from SBU, I believe that blitzkrieg is possible, but only if Ukraine invades Russia. But we don't plan. Relax, Donald Trump, Kellogg, don't worry. All we want is our 1991 borders. Subscribe if you share my opinion and demonstrate your solidarity with Ukraine. That is very important for us. So these aircraft are also known as Spiderweb A-50. They are early warning and control aircraft. They fly close to the front lines, or they may stay deep inside Russia, but still provide the information to Russian bombers who always target civilian infrastructure, schools, hospitals, and you are able to witness that. So, of course, the way Ukraine defends itself and Russia fights is very, very different. So they are expensive. Each can cost up to $318 million. And Russia is a collapsing economy. So even from this economic point of view, they cannot afford themselves new ones. At the start of the invasion, they had from 8 to 5, perhaps 8 in general, 5 working. We have destroyed 2, damaged 1, and now again, -2. What is interesting, as we see on that satellite images released by China. So China does not like losers. In the world of predators, there are no friends. So they demonstrated the satellite images, and we can see that 2 of these A-50s, they tried to protect them. One was half covered with sacks of sand, and that protects from explosions nearby. And it might have helped if, for example, a lonely drone or 2 or 3 drones would land somewhere nearby. We protect a lot of buildings, a lot of monuments in Ukraine the same way. So those of you who travel around Ukraine might have seen our monuments hidden with the sacks of sand. In my university, for example, the first floor windows are covered like that. Another aircraft was like a lot of wires, tires, like car wheels, tires. Perhaps they believe this also helps from drones, but not when these drones perfectly land on the very aircraft. And that is genius. Those of you who watch the videos perhaps understand that not just it is a very high-level operation, a historic one, nothing similar ever happened. And I'm happy that actually NATO confirmed that today. With all their doubts, with all their fears, they had to say that this was a genius operation. And we also have videos. And these videos are not only filmed by the Russian conscripts, whom Russian propaganda now wants to execute, a very typical behavior, not to look into the problem, but, you know, to look for those guilty somewhere on this very shallow surface and to try to hide the truth. That's the way they solve problems in Russia, execute those who speak about the problems. Disgusting, and of course, it does not lead to success, future development inside the country. Exactly what we observe in Russia. No signs of, any development. So we have these images, we have these videos also because perhaps SBU successfully hacked them. That's why you could see the explosion on the Crimean Bridge. That's why there are some videos of Russian tools exploding and a present from China, the satellite images of the destroyed A-50s. I like it because that's really great and that is a breakthrough. I need to remind you that in total, during the Operation Spiderweb, air bases in other cities were targeted, not just Ivanovo near Moscow, but also Murmansk, Ryazan region, Irkutsk and Amur. And that is so far away, which is another proof that right now the size of Russia does not help it at all. Previously, the relocation of air bases, arsenals helped to protect them from attacks, but with Ukrainian creativity, when we deliver drones wherever we need them, nothing can save Russia from demilitarization. And that is the only way to bring lasting peace. And that is why I am so angry to observe this White House chickening behavior. But that's not the first time in history. And how they say, now Russia will attack Ukraine. Some of you also repeat this very Russian messages. Russians attack us every day and every night. Every day and every night and every day during these years. They threaten us all the time, so there is no need for the US Embassy to say there is a great level of danger of the Russian attack. It's literally every day. Every day. In every region something happens. People get killed every night because Russia is a mafia criminal country. And when we destroy their strategic bombers, which they actually use, which they have already fueled and perhaps stocked with those missiles to come to Ukraine and to ruin everything, when we destroy them, we definitely make this world a safer place. Just watch this Kremlin representatives' faces. Watch this Botox Putin. That is all you need to know. This is not the leader of the world. This is not the global leader. This is the Botox Kremlin goblin. And to celebrate the genius of the Ukrainian SBU, check our new summer drop. We have developed with our amazing designer a number of t-shirts that tell the story. And I am very grateful when you choose our t-shirts, our sweatshirts and caps, because this way you start important conversations about Ukraine, remind about us, and make our community stronger. Also, I'm very proud that our community on Anna Danilchuk channel, where I share my weekly updates about what is life in times of the big war and personal memories, even from the Soviet times, is growing. So check, here I leave the link to the channel and subscribe, because I promise you there will be other important topics covered. Follow me on X, on Instagram, on Threads, on Blue Sky, and join our Discord community. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!